Most of us approach getting wealthy as, well, an intellectual problem, a game of numbers and strategy that you have to master. But that view is fundamentally wrong. When you really look at the data, financial success has almost nothing to do with how smart you are. It's all about your psychology. It's not what you know, it's how you're hardwired to behave. Let's dig into a couple of real stories that really drive this home. So, let's look at two very different people. On one hand, you have this brilliant tech executive, a certified genius by all accounts. But his relationship with money, it was driven entirely by impulse, not logic. This is a guy who literally threw thousands of dollars in gold coins into the ocean, not as a joke, but because he just couldn't regulate his emotions. And today, he's broke. Now, on the other hand, you have Ronald Read, a janitor. He spent his life making simple, consistent financial moves, nothing fancy at all. And when he passed away, he left behind an $8 million estate. The janitor. So this raises a really critical question, doesn't it? How does someone with zero formal training outperform a genius in his own game? The answer is all about a hierarchy of skills. See, the janitor mastered something far more important than spreadsheets. He mastered behavioral control. The genius had the intellect, sure, but he couldn't control his own behavior to use it effectively. This whole paradox proves that finance isn't a hard science like physics. It's a soft skill. It's a behavioral science, run by these invisible psychological forces inside all of us. And here's the crucial takeaway. Your bank account, it's just a lagging measure of your identity. Think of it like a scoreboard that's always a few weeks behind. It's a perfect reflection of who you've been, of your ingrained habits and beliefs. That's why chasing after the next hot stock tip or a new budgeting app is totally pointless. If you really want to change your financial reality, you have to first change the identity that created it. And that transformation, that happens through small, deliberate things you do every single day. So, let's get into the first discipline. All right, discipline 1. This is all about turning a passive wish into a concrete objective. You know that fuzzy hope of, I want to be rich someday? Psychologically, that's useless. It has zero power. The real process of building wealth only kicks in when that hope becomes a definite, burning desire. It has to become a real psychological commitment. Napoleon Hill spent years analyzing hundreds of self-made millionaires, and what he found was that a thought by itself is just a blueprint. It's static. It only gets real power, real momentum, when you mix it with 3 key things: a very specific goal, the persistence to actually chase it, and a desire that's so intense it's almost an obsession. Without those 3 ingredients, the wish for wealth just sits there, completely inert. So Hill laid out this 6-step method. And look, this isn't some magic spell. It's a psychological tool. It's designed to make an idea in your head tangible and real. Figuring out the exact amount of money, deciding what you're willing to give in return, setting a hard deadline, creating a real plan, and then the crucial part, writing it all down and reading it aloud every single day. These actions are designed to systematically reprogram your subconscious mind. It's how you shift your identity from someone who just hopes for wealth to someone who expects it, because you have a plan in motion. Okay, discipline 2 is about your environment. Here's something most people don't realize. Your financial decisions, they aren't really conscious choices most of the time. They're subconscious reactions to the cues all around you. That's why relying on willpower to save money or not spend is a losing strategy. Willpower is like a muscle. It gets tired. But if you design your environment the right way, well, it automates the good decisions for you. No willpower needed. And this is the core idea right here. It is so much easier to avoid temptation than it is to resist it. We try to fight our bad habits head on, which is like trying to swim upstream in a powerful river. It's exhausting. The smarter move is to just change the environment that's triggering the habit in the first place. You don't fix the behavior, you remove the cue. You literally engineer the temptation right out of your life. So how do you do this? It's actually pretty simple. You make the good cues really obvious. Put the healthy food right at eye level in the fridge. Keep your guitar on a stand instead of packed away in its case. And for the bad cues, you make them invisible. Delete those one-click shopping apps from your phone's home screen. But the most powerful tool of all is automation. Setting up an automatic transfer to your savings account, that removes the decision completely. It rewires your default setting. Okay, on to discipline 3. This one is all about breaking down a really common myth, the idea that you need massive action to get massive results. It's just not true. The biggest thing stopping us from making progress isn't how hard the task is. It's the friction of just getting started, that initial hurdle. So the key is to shrink that first step, to make it so small that your brain's natural resistance to effort just doesn't even kick in.
And that brings us to something called the 2-minute rule. The idea is that any new habit you want to start should take less than 2 minutes to do. Now, the goal here isn't to get the result right away. The goal is to master the act of showing up. You have to establish the habit first, then you can improve it. This rule makes that first step so easy, so ridiculously small, that you can't say no.
Just think about the psychological difference here. A goal like save $10,000 this year, that feels huge, right? It's intimidating, and it's a recipe for procrastination. But what about a 2-minute habit like open my savings app and look at the balance? That's too small to fail. These are what we call gateway habits. They don't achieve the final goal, no, but they start building the identity of the person who eventually will. Discipline 4 really challenges why we even want wealth in the first place. Most of us are conditioned to see money as a tool to buy stuff, cars, houses, gadgets, but that's a really shallow way of looking at it. The real reward, the true utility of money, it's not material at all. And this reframe is absolutely critical. Think about it this way. Every dollar you save isn't just a dollar. It's a piece of your future freedom that you're buying back. Possessions, they just create more work, more obligation. But having control over your own time, that is the highest return your money will ever give you. This is the real endgame we're talking about. It's not the fancy car. It's the freedom to say no to a job you despise. It's not the bigger house. It's the power to choose what you do with your day, who you spend it with. Once you start seeing saving as buying your own freedom, the psychological drive to do it becomes so much stronger than that fleeting urge to just buy another thing. All right, our 5th and final discipline. This is the one that ties everything else together. It's the core engine behind any real, lasting change in your behavior. Because the goal isn't just to do different things, it's to become a different person. It's about rebuilding your identity from the ground up. So here's the core mechanism. Your habits aren't just about getting results. Every single small action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. Think about it. Every time you skip an impulse buy, you're casting a vote that says, I'm a disciplined person. Every time that automatic transfer hits your savings account, that's a vote for I'm a saver. Now, one single vote doesn't seem like much, but over time, the accumulation of those votes, that's what decides the election. That's what builds your identity. So the process here is to work backwards from your identity. First, you decide who you want to be. Then, you start proving it to yourself with these tiny, undeniable wins. For example, if your goal is to write a book, you don't focus on the book. You focus on the identity. I am a writer. And your daily vote? Write 1 sentence. Want to get fit? The identity is, I am someone who doesn't miss workouts. The daily vote? Just put on your running shoes. You see? You're not aiming to save $1 million. You're aiming to become the kind of person who saves consistently, one small vote at a time. So in the end, these 5 disciplines, they aren't just a list of tactics. They're an integrated system for rebuilding who you are. Your daily habits are the literal architecture of your identity. They're the building blocks. And over time, they create your entire psychological structure. If you change those daily habits, you can't help but change your identity. And once your identity changes, your financial reality has no choice but to follow. So the real question isn't about which stock to pick or what budgeting app to use. It's much deeper than that. I want you to look at your tiny behaviors today, the small decisions that seem like they don't matter, because every single one is a vote. So the question is, what identity will you vote for today?